Mr. Steve Harvey is 66 years old. He was born in America. His parents, everybody that surrounds Steve Harvey was born in America. Steve Harvey acquired all of his wealth in America. He became famous. He was a stand-up comedian until he made his way through all his life. All the 66 years of his life, he has lived in America. But the first time that Steve Harvey set his foot in Ghana, the first time Steve Harvey set his foot in the continent of Africa, the land of his ancestors, that was the only time he felt like a normal human being in his entire life. I mean, upon all the 66 years he has been living in America, the only time he felt like a normal human being, it is when he set his legs on the land of his ancestors. So what does this have to tell you? It was like there was a transformation that happened to Mr. Steve Harvey. He experienced the feelings in which he had never felt before in all of his 66 years in which he has lived in America. And that is the same transformation that I want you people to experience, especially those who have not yet come to Africa or those who are still yet planning to come to Africa. Now, if you might be asking yourself, are you even sure Steve Harvey said it? I'm going to put the channel, or I'm going to drop the link in the description for you to go and check the video yourself and hear how Steve Harvey himself was talking about the experience he had the first time he set his foot into the continent of Africa. So stay with me. I know some of you might be asking me, but Nelson, what sort of transformation are you talking about? We are doing just fine here. Yes, of course, I'm not saying that you are not doing fine. I'm just saying that you are going to experience something very, very different when you step your foot into the land of your ancestors. Even though I might try to explain it to you, you might not really get the clearer picture except you have come and experienced it yourself. There are some certain things that does not need to be explained unless you explain, because even though no matter how much someone tries to explain it to you, you might not really get what that person is trying to say except you have experienced that same thing yourself. Like for example, Mr. Steve Harvey, if they could have told Mr. Steve Harvey that when you go to Africa you are going to feel different, maybe he could have said, come on man, or maybe he could have argued. It is good Mr. Steve Harvey went to Africa himself and experience the change that really needed to be. That is why I'll keep telling you guys that Africa is the only place where African diasporans can come and just be normal, be a normal person, be an ordinary person, move on with your day-to-day life activities without anybody looking at you maybe in a color manner, or if you are black or if you are white. No, it is not only just the place of your ancestors, but the place where you are dominant, the place where in this section of the world you are dominant. Africa is the second largest continent after Asia continent. So just imagine you are dominant here. This is the only place where you will go to court, you'll be judged fairly, you will go to whatever you are doing, nobody will look at you in the color context and try to judge you. So that's what I am trying to talk about here. And there's a lot of things you can achieve in Africa. You can open your businesses, you can do a lot of things in Africa. That is, I even did a video when Akon was telling African Americans that, you know, whatever you are doing here, take it to Africa. Okay, whatever you are doing here, whatever you are covering here, if you are doing business, if you are doing music, if you are whatever you are doing, take it to Africa and develop yourself there.